So the reason that people go to gurus or to religions or into cults where they lose their autonomy, it's not all necessarily bad, right? There is something good there. There's something there that brings people to these scenarios, which can oftentimes result in ways that unfortunately disempower the sovereignty, the sovereign agency of the individual. And that thing that draws people to give their will away, their power away to other people, is a lack of clear context. Their mind is not in a clear context where they feel safe, where they feel like they can clearly see what is happening in their lives and what is happening in the world. So there's a lot of confusion, and there is like a seeking someone to give an answer. Right? And some people are very sure of themselves and give the answer, and their shadow creeps in and it becomes about them. So we're entering a new age now, right, where we're realizing that timeless teaching of what any great guru should bring through is that we are all the guru, that the divine is within all of us, and the guru has always historically been a symbol for this. We are now entering an age, right, where the second coming of Christ, the return of the second world teacher, the second Buddha, as Thich Nhat Hanh said, perhaps it will be the community, right? It's within everyone. So it's really important, and it's really easy to consistently, unconsciously give away our true nature, natural birthright to perceive things through our unique lens. We are continuously conditioned to give away our unique perspectives and trade for what society is programming into our consciousness. So all this media, all the imprints that we're fed based on how people around us are talking, how they're behaving, what they're not saying, the traumas they're unconsciously projecting onto each other, all of that we take on to define our reality. And some people go on spiritual awakening, as it seems like a journey. Something happens in them when suddenly the life that they grew up in is not working anymore. Right, something is under the surface beginning to itch. There's some glitches. Things aren't lining up. Maybe the heart feels like it wants to blossom and to explore something. So the heart becomes inspired. Right? Maybe there's this sense of contraction. There's this resistance, and maybe we're asking ourselves the question: what is on the other side of this resistance? Is it necessary to believe in the limitations being projected onto me by my parents, by society, by my community? Is it necessary to let that kind of hold me back and do what is laid out, do what is safe? Or is there actually some mysterious force that is valuable to listen to, that is embedded within the nature of this discomfort? Is there something on the other side, right? Is there something on the other side of what I've been taught that's there to discover? And from what I've discovered in my own experience, and all we can do is have our own unique experiences, right? Is committed myself to learning through a direct experience of what life really is, outside of the box of human assumption and cultural explanation. And my experience is that there is nature, there is a universal life force that is inseparable from me and from everyone, that interacts as all people with itself. And as we seek explanations outside of ourselves, right? The trick, the real quest that we're all on, the big challenge and the big thing that will help us all to mature as a humanity, is to no longer look outside of us for authority. No longer look outside of us for anyone telling us how to think or who to be. And to start to take self-responsibility and accountability, 100% accountability for being our authentic selves, for being true to ourselves. And for each of us it's unique, and yet at the center of ourselves, we all share the same essence. We are all life. Right? So the more we can let life express uniquely and transparently through us, the more that we reprogram a culture, a collective field that conditions repression in humans, we can be the glitch in the matrix to taking self-responsibility to individuate and discover our uniqueness, and discover the emptiness of the mind beneath all the unconscious stories. We can begin to unlock deeper and deeper dimensions of freedom that we never even could fathom were possible, because we never were taught they were possible. And in that sense, we pioneer new ways of actualizing human potential, new ways of blossoming into deeper, juicier ways of embodied love, peace, balance, harmony, creativity, efficiency, magic, play, satisfaction, and deep realization, actualization, embodiment. Right? We can become real, realized. We can realize who we really are unconditionally. That is true sovereignty. Unconditionally, regardless of external seeming stimuli and what the people around us are believing and trying to get us to believe, no matter the static, the frequencies of trauma that keep triggering each other and inviting us to get stuck in these trauma loops and these victim, perpetrator, savior, endless cycles of doing the same thing over and over again. We can actually turn the mirror back on ourselves and become transparent. Through the mind, see all the layers of artificial thought structures that are not actually in resonance with who we really are, with our sovereign core nature. We have so much inbuilt shit that we've been stuffing and not knowing how to feel and to process and to move, not knowing how to really ground into and utilize and accept and embrace our deepest, darkest shadows in a way that allows them to be included, be rooted into, used as fertilizer for the blossoming of our being. And in order to do that, we have to remember that we are flowers. We are not these boxes. We are blossoming flowers. We are the mandala of the universe, the Big Bang, right? We are the love-making of all of creation, giving birth to itself over and over again. And in that sense, my job is to hold a space, the kind of midwife in a sense, doula in a sense, this rebirthing process, this metamorphosis into our butterflies that is currently happening, that is currently excavating from the deepest darkness of our cocoon, of our being with ourselves, and a dissolution of who we once thought we were. There is now a coming into seeing life from the perspective of a butterfly, seeing life as this open sky that we get to fly in a way that fully honors the transparency of the uniqueness, of the holiness of what it means to be human, and integrates everything we are. And so in order to do that, really my job is to remind you to remember who you really are. Because a butterfly that thinks it's a caterpillar, it's just not going to have a lot of fun. It's going to get sick and die because it's not spreading its wings. So to know our deeper nature as a metaphor for our multidimensionally transforming nature, right? We're constantly growing on an inner level as consciousness, constantly evolving beyond past perceptions, ways we saw the world when we were younger, into ways we never could have known. And in order to have a space in which we can naturally blossom, we must create the right environment for ourselves and live every day with an awareness of what we deserve, what love we deserve, who we really are, to live as the knowingness of life itself. Because this is within our potential as consciousness. We have to become fully conscious. We cannot risk to be unconscious because we are that powerful, and the rewards are that fulfilling, that perfectly balanced in the accepting of the responsibility of having that power. So essentially we have to become complete unconditional realizers, reminders, and it becomes more and more frequent, the remembrance of who we really are, of our true potential. And it takes time, and it takes cycles, and it's all included. Everything has to be included. And so my job is to serve as a mirror, hold a space of remember, actually what we were taught might not be in resonance with you. Hold up, check back in. What is really your authentic experience? What is the wisdom that is currently being communicated through your body? Where is your consciousness inviting you into? How can we be in right relationship? How can we clearly approach these parts of ourselves? How can we meet the parts of ourselves that have been hard to meet, that we might have been running away from unconsciously our whole life, and just now learning to feel that might have been repressed actually in our ancestries, and we are now the first ones to feel this deep thing, right? This is a time of really getting real with the huge wounds and the immense vulnerabilities of being human that have been suppressed from eons. And it doesn't have to be hard, as we have been conditioned to believe. There is a way to befriend the process. There's a way to see what is happening, to contextualize the process, not from some kind of dogma, right? But from our own pure self, our actual authentic nature, where we discover an innocence and a benevolence that is nothing less than divine, nothing less than the light of the sun, the beauty within nature. So my job is just to see you, to hold you in that light, give you more context in which to reflect upon yourself as the container, the pure container in which life flows, so you can allow more of your magic through. You can see more of yourself in the accurate perspective, in the way that the sky, the sun sees the earth, right? The light and the shadow selves, the divine, angelic, and the human, as one. And to help you to be that reflection of clarity, because the standard, the potential for how we can really see ourselves and life and be seen is so much higher beyond, as we break through all those boxes, all those places we've been holding back and playing small. We've been afraid to be who we really are because we haven't felt safe to be seen, because we've had our light be put down by other people that couldn't see themselves in that way. And so our light triggered within them, illuminated their resistances to that. Right? We are learning to heal that and to show up unconditionally sovereign as pure reflectors in the vulnerability of life for more of what is already happening. The healing process is already at play. The regeneration of this whole earth that is trying to happen through us. We can be channels. We are space holders for a field that makes this process easier, more efficient, more blissful than we've ever known, and returning to our nature out of these vibrations and these beliefs that have felt out of resonance with ourselves, and which we have been mistakenly led to believe that define us as something separate, rather than as simple processes that the universe has, experiences of discomfort that point us to something deeper, ever unveiling. So let me be that pointer, that reflection, that permission to see yourself, to know yourself, to find within you the empty, pure space in which you remember who you are. You can see who you are. You can see as your true self. See more of your potential, actualize, realize more of your potential, and see life blossom before you to meet you in that commitment, in that leap over the edge of past games of smallness, of past excuses for whereas you've been leaking your energy, playing games that are no longer in integrity with what is really fun for the soul at this point of the game. This is what I'm here for, in service to.